Welcome to Elf Centered. Today we're going to discuss dating Ducky. Now this is kind of a, it'll date you if you understand what I'm talking about, because a lot of the younger generation probably don't. They have no clue at this point. I'm talking about that 1986 John Hughes classic, Pretty in Pink. A lot of the women I know, a lot of the women I've spoken with over many years, and probably still quite a few if I ask them now, say that over Blaine or Ducky, they would date Ducky. Now, remember, you've got a classic kind of line going on here. Ducky's chasing Andy, Andy's kind of chasing Blaine, Blaine's chasing Andy. There's back and forth, there's a lot of comedy, there's good music, it's all sorts of fun. Now, before I start, I just want to say that in that movie, Annie Potts, wow, whoa, just beautiful. Okay, so Ducky was meant to be the nebbish, the slightly effeminate dork, the underdog that certain people, a lot of people, could identify with. Remember, this is in the 80s, back before geek and nerd became a cool thing. Originally, as it was filmed, Ducky got Andy. In test screening after test screening, the audience did not like it. The audience felt that Andy deserved to end up with Blaine. For a few reasons. As much as Ducky was a flamboyant, quirky, enchanting character, kind of the manic pixie dream boy. I hate that trope. I do not think it belongs. I think it's poorly defined because the manic pixie dream girl, if you actually watch the movies, does indeed have a story arc. But Blaine changed. Blaine was wealthy. Well, his parents were wealthy. He was good looking. He was well connected societally. And he changed. He changed for Andy. Society, people like to say they support the underdog, and in certain cases they do. But society doesn't like the underdog. Society likes the winner. That's what it's all about after all. Winning. Succeeding. It's what you see tons of memes for on various social sites. It's you're fantastic, you're amazing. People are constantly looking for validation, support. It's difficult to take it as sincere anymore. When I say you're a fantastic person, I actually mean it. If you're a complete idiot and a twat waffle, then I'm going to tell you. I'm kind of blunt and honest that way. Anyways, he was the one of, and I mean they've been around for ages, the manic pixie dream boy, before the definition, kind of before the root of it all started to happen. So, he's not amazingly physically attractive. I mean, yeah, okay, he's kind of cute. John Cryer, who played him, is not up to, for example, they wanted Robert Downey Jr. And if you remember RDJ back in the 80s, he was a very pretty boy. It would have given it a whole different flavor to the movie. It would have potentially, had Ducky gotten Andy, gone over well in the test screening. But John Cryer brought his own characterization, his own look, his own interpretation, and it was different. There has been some argument between the pair with Molly Ringwald saying that Ducky was just deep in the closet, John Cryer stating that no, he wasn't. But that's neither here nor there. Robert Downey Jr. would have been very different because looks count in our society. Okay, part of it is the marketed, here's what you need to look like, and I mean, we're going through a lot of changes there, but it comes down to, what do you prefer? What do you like in looks? That's what counts. And a lot of people can agree on certain things. They like a certain look, they like a certain curve, they like a certain smile, but it's subjective. Everyone has, as well, their own personal preferences. And I've heard people talk about this, there are people you would flirt with and have sex with, and then there are the people that you would date and you would marry. It's the difference between somebody who you personally find enchanting, entertaining, endearing, wonderful fun, and somebody you would have on your arm when you're met by friends and family. People still worry about this. Even in this modern enlightened age, what other people are going to think. Personally, I don't care what other people are going to think. I worry about what I think and, you know, what the people involved are going to think. That's neither here nor there. Actually, it is. Because you're going to worry about what other people think. If you show up at a Christmas dinner with Ducky on your arm versus showing up with Blaine on your arm, there's a big difference. And women are as invested in this as men are. And this is why I'm focusing on Ducky. It's the old Ginger versus Mary Ann argument for a lot of guys. Ducky was also kind of stalkerish. Cute, but he phoned. He rode his bike past her house all the time. He had a fairly high creepy quotient. Back in the 80s, that was seen as something cute, a way of showing attention, of showing, you know, the subtle cues that, hey, I'm interested. And everyone knows how well subtle cues work. These days, not so much. And I'll get into that in another video about friend zoning and being a creep, and actually several videos probably. It's independence versus change. Ducky is independent, very much so. He acts the way he wants, he dresses the way he wants, he does so somewhat to lash out at society and the whole cookie cutter image. Blaine is independent in his own way, but he's also dependent on his friends, and he changes. He changes to become more independent. He changes to woo Andy, whereas Ducky's already got it. It's the sensitive man versus the manly man, and we went through the sensitive man in the late 80s, and we all know where that ended up. It's something that confuses a lot of guys. We are asked to be both sensitive and in touch with our feminine side, and at the same time be manly, but only in certain ways, and interpretation and definition varies by person. So, it's just confusing. Memes. Really, how many memes do you see with John Cryer in them? How many memes do you see with Ducky in them? How many memes do you see with Chris Helmsworth in them? Or any muscular Scottish guy in Nothing But a Kilt? You might like Ducky. You might even adore Ducky while you're watching the movie, but after that 90 minutes is up, as much as we constantly make reference to our lives through movies, through music, remember, your life is not being directed by someone else. You're starring as you, even if you're too sick to perform. And no one's giving you a script. Your life isn't a movie. Get out there and live it. Think about it, but live it. And ladies, I'm sorry, as wonderfully darling as Ducky is, you might say Ducky's the guy you want, but we all know it's Blaine. Go forth and enjoy.